so funny.
Just don't open
I
them
can't
into your
tell
mic.
if he's
Jesus
the pig
Christ.
or the farmer.
All right. So, I don't have any topics today.
Durka.
I don't. Yeah, well, I'll come up with something as we go. So, all right. So we're going to start now, and we're in a slightly different order. But we're going to start with me. I am Chris. To my left is
Trace.
To his left is
Joel.
To his left is
Matt,
To his
Matt.
left is
I'm gonna stab you, motherfucker.
A Brenden.
and then Rocky.
He's outside.
Thank
He'll
you.
be here somewhere.
He'll be all over the place.
Yeah, how long do you want me to leave
What do you mean
him
the
out?
GoPro's
Why
not going?
not?
It stops going when it
You'll hear
disconnects
him.
from Wi-Fi?
Yep.
That is
I can't
stupid
hear
as
anything
hell.
outside his headphone.
Paige will hear him.
Hey,
Good night.
Well, we could record it, but I just couldn't watch it.
that's fine. Which button records?
Go to the
Top
front.
one.
The top one is you have to make sure it's on video, and then just click the top button.
Okay.
I'm recording.
The front one
and
changes
watching
the
it.
type, and then the
Yes.
top one. Okay.
So hit the front button
Hey.
like once or
Hey,
twice.
Brenden,
It should be on picture.
we're recording
Switch it
and
to
watching.
video. Mine doesn't keep up, I think, because you're connected also.
That doesn't matter. I'm not connected to your. It's two different Wi-Fi's.
It'll go and then just cuts off because it says it lost connection.
Maybe you're too far.
So then you
away.
hit the top button to start.
Ocho Cinco to talk to what? Oh, to talk sports. I was like, what the hell?
We're gonna have to sync again.
Again? All right, now we're back,
We are live.
and here we go.
Wearing this headband makes me feel like I have a hat on, which makes me want to adjust the way that I put my helmet, the way that I put my headphones on. What are you guys doing?
Laughing?
Of course, Chris wears a helmet.
Wow.
A helmet.
a helmet.
All right, so I had to get up to start the. What is that? Oh, you've got your
Smart.
your topic. All right,
Yep.
since Joel already has his ready, let's start with Joel.
Yes.
Joel, move these.
this-
So you have to sit on them.
Jesus, Murphy. I was going to lift him.
Oh,
Jesus
yeah.
Murphy is a new
Again?
one. How you gonna do one arm at a time?
Hell yeah, brother.
Okay,
Brother.
From Iraq.
Brother. All right, so.
Oh yeah.
So
Slim Jim.
the woman who created the green bean casserole has died.
How in the fuck
is
could they
sad.
possibly know that information?
That is sad.
So Dorcas Riley,
Oh
was
my God, it's
a
getting worse.
former manager of Campbell's Kitchen and the creator. So basically,
They had her create it.
she combined green beans and Campbell's cream of mushroom soup and called it green bean bake, which essentially became the staple green bean casserole.
Which
Once
is
you throw some
disgusting.
crispy onions on it.
Which
What did you just say? What is wrong with you?
you are un-American.
What did he say?
He said it's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Give it to me without the onions.
Green bean casserole is the
No.
single best side that is served with every
Let's walk
Thanksgiving.
out.
Aside
Let's
from
walk out on him.
aside from like the
Bye,
cheesy
guys. See
potatoes,
you later.
Podcast, picture this.
like
We're all
cheesy
walking
hash
out the
browns or
door.
cheesy potatoes.
Literally
Heads down,
can, 'cause,
shaking.
100%.
Hey, I just don't like it.
Well, there's
Joel, is your
something wrong
GoPro
with
still
you.
recording? I don't see the red light.
Oh, well, we'll figure
Probably.
it out later. Who really cares?
But which kind of makes me think and come to my like ingredients when you bake. When it's cookies and you need a half of this, like how do you discover that?
Trial and
just
error.
Trial and
Like
error.
over and over, like
lots of bad batches.
how many
Yeah,
how
a
many
long-
shitty cookies were made until they finally just made like, oh, that's
A lot.
delicious. I
A
need more of
long,
that.
That's a fair
long,
point.
long time ago, people didn't have anything better to do.
in a galaxy far, far away?
When it's
Yes.
like 1 tablespoon of salt, 1/2 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of
I was
sugar.
thinking
Here's some
more,
brown sugar.
The Weird Al song.
Oh yeah. that
Naboo
one.
was under.
And it's
I can't sing, so I'm not gonna.
That
Continue.
stuff is just bizarre to me.
It's crazy to think about.
Well,
I mean,
that's-
same thing. Well, really, chili is just throwing a bunch of shit together and calling it chili.
Well, and see, that's the difference between cooking and baking. Is cooking, if you add a little bit too much or a little too little of something, then it really doesn't matter. You can taste the difference, but it's not overly bad. Whereas with baking, if you miss one little thing,
Right.
it ain't going to
Just
work
bad.
correctly.
Or forget to put something in, you are just done for.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
you fucked.
Which is why I much prefer cooking over baking. But
Yeah,
Well,
cooking
right,
is
same.
much better, in my opinion, to
I'm
baking.
good at cooking. I'm not good at baking.
Yeah.
I can cook. I made meatballs last night. They were freaking awesome.
Do you have any leftovers?
I do. I have 2 left.
Oh, that noise, though.
Mm.
Ah, Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
man.
So, speaking of that, all of those weird combinations to try to find something, similar to that is like when people find like the really random bugs in games, or like
Oh, yeah.
ways to like trick the game into letting them speedrun it or something along those lines, like memory manipulation, like in the old cartridge days.
Would that be like the
Like-
same as jailbreaking a phone?
Kind of, yeah. There's a lot of trial and error with that too. It's like, how in the hell did you ever figure this out? And sometimes you get it jailbroken like within a day or two, and usually those happen because the new version is so like similar to the old version that some of the same tricks worked, so it was a lot easier to break it. But yeah, it's a lot of trial and error, and I just don't understand. I say that I don't necessarily understand the people that have the patience to do it, but I will troubleshoot something for 2 hours, and that's all trial and error too. It's just trial and error with something that kind of works, and you need to make sure it all the way works. So,
Good
that was
job.
foul.
Well,
That smelled
good thing
terrible.
The window's open.
Well, it's kind of blowing a little bit in here. It's keeping my beer cold though.
Is there not a towel in there? What are you farting?
Oh, I
Oh.
burped over here. I had a Brenden burp, and it was
I had a bunch on the way over here,
yeah.
and
How'd
they
that
were
feel?
Bang energy drink ones, cotton
Oh,
candy.
no.
dude.
Oh.
That is so good.
That's the first time I've ever
I
had.
do not like
Did you like
the
it?
cotton candy one.
Cotton candy was not good. I
do
had
not like the cotton candy one.
Really?
This podcast is
I
not
had another
sponsored
one
by
like
Bang
3 hours ago.
God, what?
or Hy-Vee.
Jesus.
Bang is
Uh,
so
Whoever
good.
makes Bang.
What are you trying
What
to
was-
do?
I was
Kill
trying to get
yourself?
fucking ready for this.
Holy hell.
Dude,
Need
Bang
some
is
energy.
so
I
good.
guess.
Hype
I'm ready
just
to
did the
talk all
podcast.
night.
Me
Oh
too.
God.
I'll lay right
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
My hip might go numb, but
My-
I'll lay right
I
here.
didn't even pay attention to when we what time frame we started at. Oh man. So
The
we're just gonna
dog.
wing it.
What are we winging?
So just whenever we're starting
Well,
this thing.
you know you opened a beer or somebody opened a beer.
I opened a beer. It's my
I
beer.
can't wait to drink again, guys.
You could.
That sounds like
No.
something an alcoholic would say.
I know it
Very
does,
true.
but I'm not an alcoholic.
Trace,
what
the first step is
alcoholics would
admitting
say.
that you have a problem.
I have a problem, and I
Hold
quit
the
drinking.
phone.
I have a problem, and the problem is I don't have a beer.
There you go. That's exactly it.
Math, you're my favorite.
Oh my god.
That's the first time
never
in my
gonna die,
life.
is it?
That is the very first time in my life I've ever said that math is my favorite.
Oh.
That was so funny.
Not you, Matt, but math.
Okay. So Chris and I were sending stuff back and forth, and I found this
Nudes.
review on
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Amazon about some like 950,000 volt knuckle taser.
It's like brass knuckles, but with electricity.
Oh
in it.
yeah.
Did I send you that review?
No, but I've seen those. Yeah.
Okay, this guy's like, I went to buy Girl Scout cookies, and I started swinging and tased myself and knocked myself out. I'll have to send you the review.
So wait,
No, it's a whole review on Amazon of this thing, and it is hilarious.
does he explain why he started swinging? When buying
Yes,
Girl
he
Scout
does. It
cookies?
starts from the beginning,
Okay.
but it's so funny. And then Chris decides to send me one
My
about
dinner with Andrea.
sugar-free gummy bears.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure that whatever's in those sugar-free gummy bears was also in the gummy multivitamins that I bought. Because for like a week straight, I could not stop shitting. And it was like the whole week that I was taking those gummies, multivitamins. Because I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be sugar-free. So they probably use whatever the same thing is, even though I'm fairly certain that they stopped making sugar-free gummy bears for the very reason as described in the review. Because some people's digestive systems respond so violently to it that, you just have explosive diarrhea nonstop. Rocky, we can't play right now. There's way too much stuff everywhere. I know that you hate it. But yeah, so my dinner with Andrea, and then the 950,000 volt knuckle duster review.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah. Well, I still have
One of
it
the
from
funniest
in
things.
Instagram because it keeps your history.
No, I know. I'm going to send it to Matt.
Oh, I gotcha.
We should throw it in the link, though. We should throw both of those in the
Yeah, no, that'll be fine. We got links, like a link dump type thing in this the last episode that we did.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. Was that just you, or did Matt help you with that?
No, Matt made the
That
links.
was all Matt.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
all
really?
Matt, and all of the images were Matt. The only thing that wasn't Matt with regard to those was the slow zoom on Gritty's face.
And then any of the text that popped up over the
Okay.
images.
Mm.
Oh yeah, there was. I did some text over the first suicide awareness like
I saw
hotline
that.
thing, and then
Sorry,
the sorry
not
not
sorry.
sorry about Gritty. I should have put the suicide hotline thing again after the slow zoom up on Gritty again, but decided against doing that. I think it's because there was another image that was supposed to go up right after it, so right in the timestamps. I really like the way that you named the files.
Yeah,
The
Brenden
timestamps,
over there
that was
drinks
very
two
handy,
energy
yeah.
drinks. I see you yawning, calling you out.
Oh. There was a. I was listening to. What was it? Oh, it was when we were talking about the house that had no electricity, and I was like, I was expressing my doubts about it, and I heard in the background, I heard, oh, and I was like,
Oh.
yeah, I was like, what is that? Like as I was listening to it back, because at the time I knew what it was. It was Brenden getting excited for a call out, and then I was listening back, and then Matt was like, oh, is that a call out? And then everybody lost their minds. We're wearing Matt and I are wearing actually wearing our uniform right now. These other schmucks are not.
Was
I
this a
didn't- I
uniform
didn't know
now?
it
Is
was
that
a
what
uniform.
This
we're
is America. We have to wear a uniform if you're going to be patriotic in any way.
Okay.
Yours is backwards.
Oh, shut up. I can't help that.
Go eat an ass, Chris.
I am not a child. Oh, I just realized that I put my beer right. Oh,
Are you saying children eat
that one was
ass?
still full.
I
Like
guess.
teenagers do, yeah. That's the new thing, man. We could get listener number 1 on here to talk all about eating ass.
You make me feel
I'm
so
sure-
Actually, he's
old.
never done
I'm
it.
sure. Oh, please.
No, he's never done
Oh,
it.
please.
I
When's the last
asked
time you
him,
talked to him? When was the last time you asked him a direct question about his sex life?
When did we
When
go?
did we
eat?
go to lunch? Yeah.
When was the last time?
When was that?
Last Wednesday.
And you asked him, "Hey, do you eat ass?" And he said
I
no.
don't think that was the question, but there were.
Bunch of sketchy looking motherfuckers.
Yeah,
What kind of
whatever.
neighborhood we in
Where?
right now?
They're just walking down the
Right
street.
outside.
Just 3 little white boys walking around. It's dark out. Street
That's what I'm
lights
scared
are
of.
on.
Is the little white
I'm
boys.
usually
Yeah.
home. At that age, I had to be home when the street lights came on.
That's
Only
true.
8:24.
The street
Yeah,
lights
the street lights
are
came
on.
We had to go home.
They clicked on. You had to be home before they fucking
Oh,
lit up
yeah.
all the way.
Nah. Not me.
Maybe not for you.
Not
you
me,
lived
Holmes.
in Germany.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
They don't even have
They
street
have
lights. I
streetlights
bet.
there?
Hey, got him.
Nazis.
Nazis. Haha.
You
You guys
Nazis.
lost.
Yeah.
Fucking Nazis.
No, there were streetlights, but the neighborhood that I lived in was like 50 people total, so it's like they didn't really care.
Till one kid goes
And we were-
disappearing.
Well,
That's
yeah, and
all.
we were kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It was like prime kidnapping territory. But
Oh, Chris is gone.
Yeah.
See you later.
what was that? Was that the sound of a vacuum or a van? Chris is gone.
Let me jump on my vacuum.
The big alien vacuum got him. Speaking of Germany, I was talking about this last night. Actually, went out to a coworkers like going away party thing. But the Germans are weird about their public transit. Not only, I mean, their public transit's great. When I went there last year, I got like an international driving permit just in case I had to rent a car. Never ended up having to rent a car because the trains and buses were so good that we never had any problems getting anywhere. Like even like the most inconvenient stop was like maybe an eighth of a mile, maybe a quarter mile walk from like where we were going to. So it was very nice. But the interesting thing is every
Like here.
every day, correct. I don't think I could walk a quarter mile and get out of your neighborhood. So, also I can't take a bus out of your neighborhood. Like there's no
Nope.
way I can do that.
You walk to Harrison and get on a bus.
Yeah, I'm not walking from
That's
here to
a mile.
Harrison. That is bullshit. I'll steal a car before I do that.
That's like half a mile.
Is it?
Probably
no, it's not.
even.
It's more than a half a mile.
From here to
Well,
Harrison?
no,
It's
we're
more.
north of
That's
Giles.
more.
No, we're south of Giles.
We're
Wait.
closer to Harrison.
I've heard it all.
No.
Are we?
We're not. We're
Oh no,
North
I've
of
got
Giles.
I've got my streets backwards. Yeah,
Harrison's
I'm thinking
right
Giles.
there.
No,
Yeah.
Harrison.
We're-
Yeah,
Harrison's
we're
right
just
there.
I'd say
south of
Harrison's a
Harrison.
half mile, but if
Okay.
you had to walk,
Thank you.
if
Probably
you had to
less than a
walk
half mile,
neighborhood
but-
streets though,
It's
then
all
it's
over
probably
the
a little
place.
bit more
Yeah.
than a half.
And
mile.
also,
Zigzag.
Walking
is it
distance.
which cross street?
Just what do you mean?
Why don't we
78.
just
Harrison.
why don't we
What
just
is the
jump
other?
fences?
Okay.
Most,
Anyway.
most direct
I mean,
I
route.
mean,
You
yeah.
go
Let's
to that
just
light,
explain
if you-
exactly where we're sitting at right now.
Address is
Fair. Yeah, shush.
1, 2, 3. Shut the fuck up, Brenden.
69.
Yo
Suck a
mama
dick
house.
Chris
ass.
can bleep stuff now.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
no, I
Bleep
Yeah.
this.
heard that.
Matt was like, "Oh,
bitch.
great, a 2-hour podcast with 40 minutes of beeping." I was like, "It's not going to be that bad. It might be."
That was actually funny as shit. What if we actually gave out his address and then people came down?
Oh,
we would just beep it.
Or if you would have done it, we would have had to either beep it or just scratch the whole podcast.
Or
I can't remember.
out of
his address.
everybody-
I just know where his house is.
Out of everybody who's here's addresses they could give out, Trace has guns. Nobody else here has guns.
I
Brandon.
have a gun.
That you know
bitch.
of.
Do you have a gun?
Yeah.
Matt,
Fucking
you have a gun?
22.
Oh, okay,
It'll
cool.
hurt.
I
It'll
have a lot of
sting.
guns.
Yeah,
in
it'll
my
piss
house.
them off.
Nerf guns.
They're still guns.
Yeah. Just paint it. Just
Well,
just
don't
rattle
tell
can it
everyone.
black.
Beep that
and
part.
then nobody
Yeah.
will know.
Oh, don't
There's
worry,
two
they
of
are.
Yeah.
Here, hold on. Me and Joel have a rap album coming out.
Actually, as a matter of fact, I have water guns in my house, so
we
fuck
took
off.
this about a year and a half ago.
All those
Are you gonna send
frickin-
that to me? If you're gonna
Yeah,
show
I
us a
will.
picture, you better send it to me.
All those
I
freaking
will.
witches better watch out, dog.
I gotta find it. First
Witches.
here.
You're gonna melt their ass.
You Rob Zombie.
Gonna melt their ass.
Anyway, so in Germany,
Burn
all the
to
buses
the
and the trains and stuff.
I didn't want to sing it, but
I do. Yeah, thank you. Oh yeah, there you go.
which one's that? Dragula? Right?
Yeah, it's Dragula.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm pretty
Joel
sure.
have
I'm pretty sure it's not even Rob
Witches.
Zombie. I'm pretty sure it's
Look for it.
White Zombie. It's one.
Oh,
There we go. Thank you, Joel. So
Which Rob Zombie song is that from? That's his new album.
You
His
have
yeah,
it.
it's the
mixtape.
newest one. Okay,
Yeah.
sweet. So every day we were in Germany, I bought like the day pass for the buses and the trains and everything, basically,
Why wouldn't you just
Uh,
buy like a week pass?
because we weren't in the same city every week and they have different
Oh.
like governing
Boom,
bodies.
roasted.
So you
Yeah,
took
boom roasted.
So you took a plane, a train, and an automobile.
I mean, I guess I did get into a taxi that was a car. So yeah.
Was it in that order? Plane, train, then automobile.
yes.
No.
Say yes.
Ah,
It was a plane and then a car. We took a taxi to our
Was
hotel. in
Steve
Munich.
Martin there
I'm not
too?
impressed.
He was not, and neither was John Candy. R.I.P.
not impressed.
So, but every day I bought the day pass, and I always had it on my phone, but nobody ever checked my tickets ever, except for on the express train between Nuremberg and Frankfurt. That's the only time that anybody checked a ticket.
So they just kind of assumed that everybody was
Right, because in Germany, if you weren't supposed to be on the bus because you don't have a ticket, you're not on the bus. So they
people
just
aren't
assume,
assholes there.
right? Exactly. They just assume that this guy's on the bus. He must have
I
bought
mean,
a ticket.
as long as
or
you're
the
not
subway or
Jewish,
whatever.
But
Well, that was a long time ago. It was a long time ago.
Fucking
Uh,
Nazis.
Did you say had they actually known you though? They would have said this motherfucker. That was French as hell.
Yeah, what the hell are you doing? This motherfucker
The world-
smoking a cigarette on the
The
bus.
world is round.
Hey, sir, how'd you get that in here?
Oui,
So-
oui.
Oui, oui. Yeah. No, so nobody ever checked our tickets, and I thought that was kind of interesting. It's like that would never work here in the U.S. because if you weren't forced to, because even like going into the train station, like most of the time to get to the tracks, like in New York or anywhere that has a subway or whatever, you have to go through a turnstile with you have to
Yep.
put your ticket
And
in
I'm
the
pretty
thing.
sure there's a
see-
video
sticks
out
it out.
there
You gotta
of
pay
the bus
for it.
driver grabbing a guy that didn't pay.
Yeah, he's
beating
like
the
just
shit out of
yeah.
him.
That's why you
We're
thank
gonna
your bus
throw
driver.
you
And how
out
much
of
is
the-
it a ride on the bus? Probably
Like $1,
35
yeah.
$1,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's 2018.
He beat
so
the shit
probably
out of a dude for
Yeah.
$1.
Well, maybe it was a repeat offender, and he just got pissed. Like he was finally just so tilted that he was like,
All right, you
"I'm gonna
son
beat
of
the
a
shit out
bitch.
of you with this tire iron."
We're tight for seats on here. There's like 4 people on here.
Yeah.
Call
I'm pretty sure I.
Call ambulance.
I'm pretty sure I smelled that burp from here.
Oh, Black Betty, Amber Lamps. Have you ever seen that video on
Yeah.
YouTube?
No.
All right.
It's-
That's another one I need to add to the list.
Some
of-
old, some old guy doesn't know how to say it. When he says
Oh, call an ambulance.
when he says ambulance, he pronounces it Amber Lamps.
It's
So
not-
someone
it's
put a
not an
remix
old
to it and
guy.
says, "Whoa, Black Betty, Amber Lamps."
he's
How
pretty
he
old.
says- Yeah, he's pretty old.
Well, no, isn't the one guy who beats the crap out of the?
They're
it's
both
the
pretty old.
White guy beats
They're
crap
pretty-
out of
they're
the
pretty old.
Black guy.
But I think the video
That's
is like
right,
it's
yeah.
it's Epic Beard Guy is the name of that video. If you search Epic Beard Guy, you'll find the video that we're talking about.
Amber Lamps.
Oh, that's my cop out for not having to put the video in the link in the description. I just be like, yeah, just search this.
Or how about this? When you find the video,
Oh,
post it in the
God.
comments, and then
Oh.
we can all get the chance
Oh.
to watch it.
Oh.
Amber Lamps.
Oh God. All right, I'm really disappointed that the wide angle GoPro is
I
not
had
recording
a,
because right now it's just a stationary trace and then me.
you got
Well, turn it.
Trace has got
It's just you
Turn it.
talking
Trace has got
to the
2 minutes.
voices in your head.
yeah.
We're just the voices.
Trace has too many buttholes. He can't sit down.
Technically, I only have one. You guys
That's the worst
understand?
part.
The other one's under construction.
14
like,
this route is
close up the
closed.
second one.
Just like every McDonald's lobby in Sarpy County.
soon.
Coming soon.
When can we expect the
No.
first trailer?
His
I don't
just
know
shut
when you
down
wanna film it.
abruptly,
I don't want to
like
film
most
shit.
of the chain restaurants here.
Yeah. Just, nope, we're done.
Ambulance.
What was the last one? Oh, there's a. No, it wasn't a restaurant. It was like a.
It was Smitty's Garage. Was probably
well,
the
Smitty's
last
was the last one that I know of that just like disappeared.
Yeah.
No, there's still one.
No,
Well,
there's
the
not.
one
There's
in
one.
Oakview closed.
Oh, well,
down.
yeah, the one right
There's
by the
one.
mall.
Where's the other one?
No, there's
closed.
one.
Dodge.
Off of
Dodge
Dodge
Street's
Dodge.
still there.
It's still
70.
there.
What
I
was the
didn't
other
mean
one
to
at
burp into
Village
the mic.
Point?
Yeah.
Was it
That was
Firebird?
Oh, that's
no,
still there.
no.
No.
What's the other one that was
Oh,
right
what-
there?
Stroud's was right
Stroud's,
It was a
yeah, the
seafood
chicken
And
place
then
place or whatever.
and then
Wow.
cheeseburgers.
Just
Before that, it was
Oh, yeah.
something cafe, and it was like Mama's Cafe, and that place was awesome.
Yeah,
but
Cheeseburger
that
Paradise
had
closed
so
suddenly
many
too.
We
That
ate
was-
there.
that was- yeah, that was
Yep.
it's done.
I,
Like
had
we
never, I still had never been there.
It was its ass.
Oh,
The servers,
I heard
servers
so
were
bad.
A long
So
time ago, it was decent.
Yeah,
like when I was in
yeah.
high school, 10,
right
12
when
years ago.
yeah, dude, servers were ass, food was ass, like the whole thing was.
we
like,
had eaten there.
But I also didn't know
a
shit 'cause
week
I was
before
15, so
they
what-
closed down,
what did I
and
know?
it was
That's what-
terrible.
Tal
That's
lo-
like good thing they closed
Food
down.
was
Yeah.
just
Tal
the
loved it.
Service was terrible.
we went with her parents one time, and like there was no one in there. We sat down and had to wait like 10 minutes
And,
for
yeah,
a chick
they
to come
still
over.
act like they were busy as shit.
and
they
then
couldn't get
like
to
it
you.
was happy, like end of happy hour.
Just
Their
really
deals,
busy.
their deals for happy hour were phenomenal. Which
Yeah, they're trying to
hurt,
get the people to come in.
but yeah, it was just nothing. Just
Which-
shit. The food was
See, Smitty's I thought was all right. I don't know.
Smitty's
A lot,
was all right.
Smitty's
a lot of people
good.
said that it was
Smitty's is
shitty,
pretty good.
but
I think the location of it, which
they
That's
put
a
themselves in a
dying-
bad spot.
It's a dying area.
Cece's was right there.
I mean, that's been gone
I
forever.
used to go to
R.I.P.
Cece's all the
CC's been
time.
Gone for
I
a
miss
long
that.
time.
I miss. There's one in Lincoln still.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
there's
there
none
yet.
I
now.
saw a
Right.
commercial for CC's
Where's
like
the-
a
where's
week
the-
Oh,
ago,
yeah, I
and
see
I was like,
commercials.
"Where in the
It's in
hell
Lincoln
can I
somewhere.
possibly go
Yeah.
to CC's?" Apparently Lincoln. Apparently got to drive 45. Kind of like people used to go for Canes.
Thank
Like,
God for,
got to drive 50 miles just to go get some Canes.
Well,
Thank God for Pizza Ranch.
yeah,
Pizza
Pizza Ranch,
Ranch.
fried chicken.
on top of that,
Fried chicken.
they used to have that Taco Bueno out at Lakeside where the Runza is,
yep.
or used to be. Now it's like KFC or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's KFC now. Yeah.
Now you got to drive to like Missouri or Kansas to get freaking Taco Bueno.
There's there's a lot of restaurants that
Taco Bueno.
like they've come and gone in the time that I like between visits to that area for me. Like I didn't know about the one you were talking about in Village Point. Not the Mama's Cafe or whatever, the other ones.
Stroud's.
Stroud's, yeah.
It's
No
fried
idea that
chicken
even
place.
existed.
Supposedly it's really good, but then it just closed down.
Yeah,
There's
it's
one
gone.
in Missouri though.
The Taco Bueno that you're talking about, had no idea that was in Lakeside. Never
Yeah.
even seen
It
it.
was
What
way
was-
back. I went there in 8th grade after I got confirmed.
Was
Oh,
Taco
so it was
John's
around when I
always-
was in high school. Then.
There was also on the other side a really good. I don't remember the name of the restaurant, but like a barbecue place, and it was there for
Jefferson.
not long at all. Jefferson's was a bar. It was awesome.
Barbecue.
I
Yeah,
love that
that
bar. No,
was-
there was like a barbecue restaurant,
Oh, where
like
Chick-fil-A
right,
is.
right on the corner. Yep.
Well, it used
like
to be Texas, or it used to be Lone Star.
Like
and then it
right when they
changed
opened
to
it,
a
it was
barbecue
something. But
place.
it was phenomenal.
I
Jefferson's
thought
was
Chick-fil-A
great.
built that building.
They destroyed, or where
There
the
was something like
natural
there.
grocery store is.
Oh,
Trader Joe's?
okay,
That
yeah,
used
yeah.
to
Whole
be-
Foods?
No, it's
No, it's
like
Natural
natural grocers.
Oh, that's literally what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it by like Chipotle?
Yeah, that's
Ish.
that's
I do.
where
I
the-
do remember
Wait,
that.
where is
was
this?
Lone Star. It's off 180th and Center.
170th and Center.
No,
Nah,
It's like
it's about
100.
Oh, you said Lone Star. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Yep.
176th, 177th.
Yeah, it's the Chipotle's off
Right in
176th. Boom.
because I was like, there's
Roasted.
no way it's off 170th and Center.
Ish.
That's like where
South
we
side.
are
South
off
side.
of 170th
Yep.
and Center.
Yeah.
The one
A
I was
certain
thinking
restaurant.
of that closed at Village Point was Bricks. That was
Oh.
2
Oh.
years ago.
yeah.
And then
Bricks?
Strauss.
Well, do you know why that closed?
they would say they
Shitty
went
business
bankrupt.
practices.
Yeah, they.
Wait,
yeah,
they're the ones
no,
that gave
No,
away all
no.
the gift cards and
Yep.
all that shit and had to.
It-
They owe over
the-
$500,000. to the
Yeah.
bank.
the
Wasn't somebody
business-
embezzling stuff too?
Yes,
Wasn't that
that's
what
what it
Okay.
was. The like
I was like,
GM
you
was
don't just-
embezzling.
How do you? It's another one of those stores
gift
where it's like,
cards.
how do you run a restaurant or how do you run a store or business like that in the ground in that location that it's in?
That place,
Yeah.
How do you do that?
but that place was so bizarre. Did you go in there?
I've never been in.
I didn't even know it was a restaurant.
So the left side was like taps, and you could pay and get like a certain amount of different wines or whatever to
Right.
try, and I think you could have food and stuff on the left side. The right side was like a grocery store to
What
where
the
they had
fuck?
wine all over, and you could like get wine, but there was also like seats in there. So if you went and you like sat at the
If you bought
table,
something, you
someone
could drink it there.
could,
Yeah.
they'd come help you, and you could just sit and like enjoy your wine inside the grocery store part, but not like the restaurant part.
Interesting. There was what the hell was the other restaurant that I don't. What in the fuck was that?
It wasn't even. They weren't.
Was that
The
you?
GM was like taking
It was my throat because I
gift
drank
cards.
beer and then swallowed.
Yeah, I heard it.
and would
Jesus
just
Christ.
like embezzle them.
It'll come to me. But there's another.
Like,
Maybe it was Bricks that I was thinking.
TGI
of before,
Fridays
but-
used to be over there, I think.
Yeah, now it's a chiropractic. place.
not in Village Point.
No,
this
it's
No.
was
closer.
Lakeside.
Lakeside?
over by Lakeside.
TJ
yeah.
Yeah.
Fridays
Oh.
closed?
Wait,
Yeah.
really? There's a
It's
TGI
been
Fridays in
moved for a
Lakeside?
long
It's a
time.
chiropractic
Like 12 years ago.
place now.
Bullshit.
No, not 12 years ago.
It was like
like 2
Wait,
years.
so
it's
did it-
been like
No.
2 years.
What,
It's
was
been
that
like
Ruby Tuesdays then?
5 years.
Was that Ruby
Was that
Tuesdays?
Fridays the one that
I'm
used to be on
thinking Ruby
156th and
Tuesdays.
Maple, and then it moved to Lakeside? Is
Yeah,
that
No, it was-
156 and Center.
There, all right,
Wasn't
so
that, is
there's
that a Ruby
there's a
Tuesdays
restaurant.
or TGI Fridays?
I think
Ruby-
it's where that
Ruby
ki-
Tuesdays was over closer by Olive Garden.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was
like
behind
on
the
168th.
hospital.
That's the
Yeah.
one I was thinking.
And
of.
it always
That's
had
a
vacancy.
chiropractic place.
No, TGI Fridays was over by Panda Express and Burger King
Oh, that's
and
right.
Runza.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
And it was like it was right up on Center.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Right.
No, that's been gone for a
So-
long time.
So way back, like right when they first started making all that stuff out there was like a diner, like burger place. I don't know if you ever went there. I think it was called like Cheeseburger, I think was the name.
oh,
of it.
yeah,
You remember
I
that place?
vaguely
I
remember
think that was
yeah.
the name. It was like a diner.
That
But
sounds familiar.
that also brings me to my next part. Do you remember Bebops?
No.
Oh,
that, that used to be
yeah.
over off of 144th.
Bebops. What the?
Yeah, it was.
Where was it
it's
at?
where
That's
it's where Lena's is.
Yep. That place
So-
has
Oh
gone
yeah,
through a
yeah.
lot
Well,
of.
because it was
Oh,
Bebops
yes,
and then
yes,
it
yes,
was
yes.
Some
the
Greek
gyro or
Mediterranean
gyro
something.
place or whatever.
Okay.
and then it was
Bebops.
Lena's. But when it was Bebops, dude, their burgers and fry. We ate there so many times. It was so good.
They
But
were good.
those still exist in Des Moines. I think Des Moines is the closest one.
Oh, really?
Which also, what Wahlburgers is opening a restaurant
yeah,
in Des
I
Moines,
heard about that.
and I think
Hmm.
Kansas City,
Yep.
which I really want to
But
try.
You mentioned Bebops, which is where Lena's is now. Lena's is my fucking shit.
Lena's is
Yeah,
phenomenal.
For you to throw up after a late night.
So-
no, I've never thrown up after it.
So-
It's
so,
fucking delicious.
Speaking of,
Hold on.
shit
one
like
one
that,
sec, real quick. So you like Lena's? Do you like Abelardo's?
If there was one on the way home from work to my house, then yes, I would.
Hey,
But
what's crazy?
so-
is
so-
they have
is on the
both
way.
within
If
the
you're
distance.
if you're willing to drive a little bit, this one in Park Drive in La Vista or Ralston,
Mm-hmm.
Monday,
there's an
Oh,
Abelardo's up there?
yeah.
Hmm.
right by the Spaghetti Works. Monday, they do chicken, ground beef, or like green pepper burrito. Buy one get one free.
Ooh.
So you get
Yeah.
two burritos for like $6.
There's that.
It's
And then if
phenomenal.
you go up over by Planet Fitness over there by Giles,
Mm-hmm.
I have Lena's.
Oh yeah, there's one right there. Yeah.
There's
I
one
have-
up
I
by
have
Stop
me.
both.
at that one.
There's one up
I have
by me
both.
too on 90th.
So-
Unpopular
Someone wanna
opinion,
go get me
Abelardo's.
some
I
rolled
don't like
chicken
Abelardo's.
tacos from
No?
there.
Now I'm hungry.
Oh, get the
Certain
fuck
had
out.
it once. I bought
Bad
or
experience.
I ordered their.
I can tell you that if you're gonna have Abelardo's, you have to eat all of it that day.
I ordered
yes.
Oh,
tamales.
left over, it is
Yes.
not good.
Oh, tamales.
Tamales, and I was not impressed.
I just had some tacos.
Have you
Where's
ever?
that Abelardo's
Joel,
by us?
Have you
I
guys
don't
ever
know.
tried
By me.
tortas?
Did you just break your
Mm.
tooth?
The like the sandwiches.
I heard
No,
that.
I've not.
No.
I've heard of
Tho-
it.
those
I
are
have
pretty
not
decent.
What
tried it.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't.
They're at
Tortas.
most of
Tortas?
the Mexican places.
Oh, yeah.
Tortas.
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 So
I,
the,
they came
you know,
in one day and
that little spot on like 180th and Pacific, the like little shack thing. It used to be like a wing place.
Oh, that's an
It's-
Abelardo's now.
Is it?
It is.
I was wondering because
It's
it
an
like
Abelardo's
cycles
drive-thru,
through,
yes.
like every 6 to 8 months. It's a new restaurant there.
I-
Is that place cursed? That little shack there?
No, it's been Abelardo's for a while.
Has
now.
it? It's funny
Um,
that it's the only ones. Do they actually have like decent hours? Because most of the other ones.
24.
Okay.
24.
Yeah, most of the other things that were there or were like, oh, we closed at 9,
I-
even though we
I
sell
will-
stoner food.
I will go to Good Life with coworkers occasionally, and that's definitely where I stop after we leave.
Yeah, no, that place has been like 6 or 7 different things just in the time that I knew it
Yeah.
existed. It's actually probably more than that now. Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him. He's gonna just see.
Matt, you're fired.
You're fired.
Exactly.
Okay, bye.
You're fired.
You're fired.
Oh God! Ouch. Oh,
Thanks,
my
Vince.
God.
Yeah, look at that waveform.
Well, at least you didn't knock over the. Well, you mean you knocked it over, but it didn't hit the floor.
Oh God.
What the hell was that?
That one wasn't me.
We're fucked.
Chill.
Nope, that's
Oh.
the dog.
Maybe leave it there. Maybe
Get
that's a better
outta
spot
here.
for it.
Yeah. Can everybody still hear?
Yes.
Except maybe
Yeah.
Brendan.
Go.
Yeah. Just leave it there.
Get.
Yep. Maybe right there.
Because now it's not dangling
Go.
as
His
much.
foot is kind of like.
Go.
Yeah, he's all up in
Go.
it, which is why I was worried about people throwing the toy because he's just gonna keep bringing it back.
Look at his testicles.
Now we're good.
Let's not look at his testicles. The
Speaking
fuck
of,
is
wait,
wrong with you?
Wait.
speaking
Wait.
of Red Dead Redemption,
Yeah,
put
horse
testicles on the horses, right?
Yeah.
I saw a
And
picture
apparently
of it, but I
they
don't know
grow and
details.
shrink if the weather's colder or warmer.
Really?
Yes.
No way.
Attention to
Anatomically
detail.
correct
What?
testicles.
I've never played Red
Seriously?
Dead Redemption.
This is why people buy
I
Rockstar
have
games.
You could put. I mean, you could put it.
Joel,
on the
I
PlayStation 3
am-
and play it if you
Oh.
want.
Hold
Do you
on.
have a?
No.
Oh, it's PS3. Yeah.
Fired. I did it in front of the GoPro.
I don't know
So
if I got it.
I'm suing.
What's- it's still
what's
recording,
your topic,
so.
Brendan?
Yeah,
well,
Brendan, what's
one
your
of the few
topic?
topics I'm bringing to the table?
Oh, there's more than
is-
one.
The Big Ten fined Michigan State $10,000 for that altercation they had on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Just
guys saw that?
Michigan State?
Just Michigan State.
Not
and
Michigan.
They
Also?
they issued warnings or reprimandations.
Reprimanded.
They reprimanded
Reprimansions.
reprimandations.
How
Like
big
they
are
gave out
those?
mansions.
Are those,
How do
how are
you-
those compared to
Can I have
McMansions?
Oprah
Well,
gave them out.
They're bad.
They're
You don't
bad.
want- you
Hold
don't
on
want
a minute.
You don't want
You're
these?
telling me for them to they walked their field.
Michigan State walked their own field. Michigan claims that when Michigan State walked out there, they latch arms and then they
They
walk
do.
end zone, just what they do. Michigan claims that when they did that, they clotheslined one Michigan player
They didn't.
and
There's
then
a video.
and then ripped the headphones out of another, which caused the whole altercation
There's
in the
a
middle.
video.
Yes, it's all video. That's just what they claim.
No, I'm saying there's a
Well,
video showing them walking
okay.
and nothing happening.
And no, there was. I saw a video of like one little scuffle kind of thing.
The
where-
players were on the field
But
still, and they like walked
at
through.
the same time,
Yeah,
though,
but if you know that
there's
happens, why are you still on the
if
field?
there's a line of big ass motherfuckers walking towards you,
And that's what
Hey, get the
Michigan.
fuck out of the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
what
they're
Michigan
walking, right? They're not like
State said.
sprinting,
no, they're walking
like
no,
a normal pace.
Like yeah, just
So you have plenty of time. You know how long it takes
yeah.
to walk 100 yards?
exactly.
But
Take
I,
some
I
time.
think it's the whole rivalry aspect. They're
Oh,
like,
that's the
oh,
whole
this is your
thing.
field.
Well, no,
I'm going to stay here.
It was one Michigan player trying to get a rise out of them, and then it happened.
It worked.
Which so
Hey, your mic's muted.
the one thing that I saw was one of the Michigan
It's
players
not
like
muted.
Oh,
dug,
you're right.
dug his cleats through the logo
Yeah.
on the
So
50-yard
after
line,
Yeah.
they pushed each other
and they had to come out
around,
and fix it.
Did he?
It was-
Did he
Spray
just
painted
watch?
it.
Did he just finish watching like a Terrell Owens compilation video or something?
He must have.
but apparently his quote was he acted out of emotion when he did that. He walked out there and.
Oh,
tried
that
to-
makes it okay, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
So he
No,
just
I-
he
I
just
acted
got
out of
reprimanded
logic.
for it. He
That's
just got
like
a warning.
that's like saying, oh, I'm sorry, I did
But
that.
they
I was
fined
drunk.
Michigan State 10
Michigan
grand.
State, yeah, the program itself got 10 grand,
That's ridiculous.
and then they
Which
issued
is-
warnings to
which-
Jim Harbaugh,
and
Which
so
is absolutely
Michigan's coach.
nothing.
You want to know what's even more ridiculous? Is that here is the NCAA, a outside organization, punishing a university.
It was the Big
with-
Ten. The Big
it was the
Ten
Big Ten
itself.
fined
yeah,
them? Okay.
Not the NCAA.
Then never mind.
Because it goes against their sportsmanship policy.
Oh,
Okay, so then you got to find Michigan for him stepping on the middle of the thing too.
Yeah, no
yeah,
kidding.
they only gave him a warning. They basically went against
'Cause-
Michigan
Because it was
State
the
because of
whole
how they
team
handled
versus-
it. Yeah. because they said staff was
Ridiculous.
there and staff and the coach could have done something about it.
Staff. Come on.
More like staph infection. Am I right?
I've had that.
Heyo.
It's not fun.
It's not fun. Had it in my knee.
I had impetigo, which is similar. It's basically the same. Like
Is that in
idea.
babies?
I mean, I think I got it around the time where my two youngest siblings were babies, so I think that's how it got spread.
Did you hear about that new thing? I don't know much about this, but I guess like children are. It's like some illness. Children wake up and they're just like paralyzed.
sleep paralysis?
What?
No,
Are
like
they paralyzed for good?
We talked about sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
like
that's-
it's like
that's
an
obviously
illness
different.
going around. Like they just wake up and they're paralyzed.
That's
That's terrifying.
very terrifying.
Because I mean, I get that sometimes, but then I also wake up and then I'm not paralyzed anymore.
Similar occurrence to one of my coworkers' children. I think he's like 1 or 2. Lost mobility of his arm and like his head, and he's only 1 or 2, so he can't talk.
Right.
And basically, they had to take him to the hospital, and he had an infection in his spinal cord, which was matching whatever this is going around. Yeah.
You can't
so
prevent
is
that.
it fixable?
Yes. Yeah. It is something that's curable. It's not.
So it's
it's
just
not
like-
a disease. It's just.
It's like
almost
inflammation.
Like a sickness.
Yeah, and it like
It's
pinches
just
your nerves.
A buildup
so you
of
can't.
fluid
Yep.
in his spinal cord.
Right.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty scary.
Joel, it
Kid
is
can't
supposed to
talk.
rain, so it may have been thunder.
That's what I heard. It sounded like thunder.
Yeah.
Pick
Lightning and
big
thunder.
ass needle and stick it in there and
In the
suck
rain.
it all out.
That's what you have to do if you have an
Down and
erection lasting longer than 4 hours.
Oh,
What?
Ouch.
have
They
it
pull the
sucked
blood.
out.
Yeah, they pull the blood out of your dick.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Well, I mean,
Call them vampires.
yeah.
Cocksuckers.
I am here to suck your blood
Yeah.
Hey-o.
Whoa.
and something else.
Now, does that work better if you are like? How is it? Would it work better if you are circumcised or
semen.
not circumcised?
I don't
Wait,
know.
what?
This vampire dick sucker who's clearing out your erection. Would it be better if you're circumcised or not?
I don't think it matters.
Yeah. I don't, yeah.
don't
Okay.
Either
I
way.
don't know what's going on.
There's
If you
teeth
aren't
going in your
circumcised, is
dick.
afterwards are you then circumcised? Is that
Possibly.
depends on how quickly he pulls out? I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
Drag.
Eula.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh,
All right.
What's your other one?
See, Trace has an easy defense though because
out
he
of
can just
beer.
throw that at whoever is trying to whatever vampire is
I
trying to
ain't
suck his blood.
throwing nothing.
Be like, here,
I'm
can have
not
this.
restarting. That's what I'm going.
I mean,
for.
don't you have to empty that every once in a while?
Yes, but I mean, the last time I emptied it was what, like 4 o'clock.
I thought. Oh, do you just math it then? Because you're supposed to be under a certain amount over for 24 hours straight.
The first,
You can start going back to work or whatever.
yeah, the first 24 hours they said usually do it in like 4-hour periods. But then we read the instructions and I was like, I'm gonna wait till this thing loses enough air, and then I will do it. But
So it's just replacing air with that. Is that what it's?
yeah, so it's
like a
just
negative,
suction. Yep,
Yep.
it's like what I had before, but
but not battery powered.
it wasn't even battery powered.
Oh no.
No, it was air powered. You just press down and it was like
Huh.
But this
Interesting.
one is actually paid for by insurance.
Well, there you go.
The other one not so much.
Not so much. I still need to figure out if two things, because I know I have a deviated septum, but like
I can
Getting
fix
a-
that for you.
I know, but it'll be incredibly.
Do you know
painful.
how to fix that?
Yeah, you have a nose job.
You put like a little balloon thing in there and they pump it up and then do the surgery.
I don't.
My old
Okay.
roommate had that. God, it smells.
But I don't know. I don't know if that would be covered under insurance because it does prevent me from breathing properly. It's not just a like. It's not just a.
So do
Like
you snore
aesthetics
like
thing.
crazy?
Oh yeah, I have sleep apnea, which is the other thing. I don't know.
It
I
looks-
think that it would fix it.
Do you
It
have
looks-
a Do you have a pump?
No,
It looks like a
CPAP
left cross.
CPAP machine. Yeah.
Might
No,
fix
a
it.
lefty
That's
definitely
what
has
I
to hit
said.
me.
I am lefty.
Hey, Brenden, there you go.
Yeah.
But I've never hit anyone in my life.
Wow.
God, you're
So-
such a
Pussy.
girl.
Pussy.
Never
Oh,
had
that's
to
right.
fight, you know. I
I
use my
jumped
words.
up.
I use
Okay.
my words.
I jumped
I'm
up
not so
and
good
you
with the
caught
words.
me. That's,
Yeah, you
that's what it
pussy.
was. Yeah. You can't get
Yeah.
away with that here. We've known you too long.
No, I mean, I've been in a few fights, but, and I say I'm
Never.
not so good with the words. I know how to talk a lot. I don't know necessarily how to talk myself
Yeah,
out
we
of a
know.
situation. Yeah,
I can talk
Uh,
myself both into situations and out of
yeah, I can talk
situations.
myself into them. I don't know if I can talk myself out of them. But at the time, I mean, most of the fights I was getting into were kids that spoke German and not English, so there were no words to be had anyway, because neither one of us spoke each other's language.
And then Chris got his ass kicked.
And no, no, you can ask Donnie
I
for
bet.
verification.
Where's he been?
I broke a hockey stick over some kid's back once.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
You're
It
hired.
was like a wooden hockey stick, not like one of the carbon fiber bullshit ones. It was
You're
wood. No, I haven't been in any fights since I moved back to the States, though. Which, of course, is like,
That's good.
oh, yeah, you don't know my girlfriend. She went to a different school. It's the same kind of thing, just with my fights. But no, my brother was there for most of them. And he's the reason for most of them. It's because he's 5 years younger than me, but all the kids in the neighborhood were my age. And they like to pick on him, so
Brawl.
you got to do something. Where's he been? We're not going to talk about where he's been. He's been in some places.
That's good.
A couple places specifically.
Uh-oh.
I mean, you already knew about
Oh,
all
okay.
that, so it's not like it's
I
a
was
surprise.
like,
Nothing new has happened. Nothing new has happened. So, yeah. He's had an interesting life the past few months.
Interesting.
And entirely preventable, in my opinion.
100% preventable.
But it is what it is. So
Yep, it happens.
just got to deal with it.
Brendan, what's your second topic?
Oh yeah, you had another one, didn't you?
I've got a few, and they're all sports related.
That's fine.
Perfect.
Hopefully I can.
I
speak
do
to
have
them.
one that we can. Well, 3 of us can talk about. But
The other one
Yeah,
was
fuck the other 2.
well,
Am I one of the other 2?
no.
Okay. I don't know what I don't know what this mystery topic is. Go ahead, Brendan.
It's nothing crazy. Just the other one is from basketball. Last night, I know not everyone here is a big basketball fan. Either am I.
Anybody here a
But just
basketball
seen
fan?
it. I thought it was interesting. It's the anti-flop rule they have.
Oh,
So
they're
like
finally doing some
so in
embellishment
soccer,
rules.
when they're throwing themselves down, obviously
Yeah.
pulling drawing
Yep.
penalties, people in basketball are starting to do it.
Yeah,
now
well, I
they
mean,
have
they've been
a
doing it for a
policy
long
that-
time.
Starting, yeah.
You basically get called
Joel,
out on
I will
it.
stab you.
That's good.
I'm gonna stab
Yes.
you with
So
the
So what
bar.
happened last night?
A
It
pork
was
sword.
Joel Embiid. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. Embiid,
Joel Embiid.
whatever.
Yep. Okay.
From the
Sure.
Sixers, flopped
Oh,
against someone on the Pistons, Andre Drummond, and he actually got. So he flopped against Drummond, and he actually got Drummond thrown out.
Oh, I
because
did
it was
see
a
that.
it was a
I
second
saw that.
technical
Yep.
penalty,
Yep.
Really?
and they end up going back after. So they kicked him out, obviously, and he was out for the rest. It was 42 seconds remaining in the end of the game, so they actually kicked him out. But then they end up going back after the game and
they like
taking
fined
it
or-
away.
Oh, they
So they
did.
basically took away the technical foul from Drummond, and then were
So he
like,
never
So if you
really
get
got
kicked
Don't
out of a
do
game
this
due to
shit.
technicals, are you like suspended or something the next game?
I think maybe
I
the
can't- I
first
Is it
couldn't
kind of
tell
like
ya.
is it like red cards in soccer where if you
well,
get
because I know in college football, if you get
kicked out
ejected
for
from
targeting?
targeting, you're out for the first half. Like if you're
Of the
it's-
next game, you're out for
yeah.
the rest of that game.
right. The
So
rest of
14
that
minutes in the first quarter, you target somebody, you're out for the rest of the game.
game,
and then the first half of your
the
next game.
following game.
Yep. Soccer kind of has
So
an
I don't
embellishment rule.
know about basketball. I don't know about.
I
if
couldn't tell you.
that is.
I'm so uneducated in basketball.
Yeah, I'm not sure about their suspension policy, but it's good
I
that they finally have like an embellishment
Oh yeah.
penalty.
I mean, you got to stop it because otherwise it's just going to get to the point where everyone's flopping, like in soccer,
But soccer has it too.
just to draw a penalty.
But the only
so
soccer
much.
does have an embellishment rule, but the only league that I think I've ever really seen it called in, 2 leagues, is the MLS, which is here in the States, and then the Premier League, which is in England. Those are the only 2 places I've ever seen it called.
And World Cup.
Yeah, true. I did see a couple come out in the World Cup, but that's not technically a league. So I was just thinking of like,
That's a fair point.
I was just thinking of leagues, and I think sometimes you'll see it in the Champions League too. Depends on who the ref crew is. But and then in hockey's got my favorite embellishment rule because hockey
It's
refs
just
do
the
not
ref
give.
yelling at
Yeah.
it, hey, don't fucking do that.
Yeah,
Literally
there's
that
one-
way, too.
no, there's one where it's like James Neal. I hope I could find this video when I'm talking about it now. There's one where James Neal dives, and he's like known to be a diver. He used to play for the Predators. Now he's on the. Actually, I don't think he's on the Knights anymore. I think he moved again. I think the
I think they traded him.
not the Penguins.
Yeah, he's not on the Knights.
Somebody else picked him up. But he, he dove, and the ref, you can hear him on the TV mics. The ref skates over. He's like, "Fuck you! That's a fucking embellishment," and
Yeah.
like sends him to the box immediately. And is like, "All right, hockey refs don't fuck around."
Or
Apparently,
there was another one where it's like, fuck you, you can't do that.
yeah, it's like,
They literally speak.
can't do
way.
that.
I love it.
and then there's another one where like, 2 guys are like roughing each other. Right? They've got their hands on the collars, and they're just both like doing the little
No,
quick
no,
jersey
no,
punches.
Fuck you too.
He's like, "Fuck you both! Fuck both of you! You're going to the box."
Get
So-
out of here.
Yeah. No, hockey refs are amazing.
It's not really a mystery topic. I mean, we talked about it over text, but
Mystery topic.
Paul
Ooh,
Rabel.
I'm not doing it.
Spooky.
Yep.
Paul Rabel
I'm gonna
started
poop in
his
that
own
cowboy hat.
professional league,
Fireball.
and
I found out it runs concurrent with MLL.
yes, and they're taking some of the players. So, like, some of the players from the MLL are going to the Premier Lacrosse League, and they're traveling. It's a traveling league.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Globetrotters.
But
In a
he
way.
had a multi-year deal done with NBC. So now,
Oh, really? Wow.
so now there's going to be lacrosse
Wow.
next summer on NBC,
Oh wow.
and MLL
Wow.
hardly has a deal done with ESPN.
Yeah. Barely anything
It's
going on.
crazy.
And the thing is, so I've seen a lot of people complain about the Premier Lacrosse League. They're like, well, part of the reason why people even watch sports is because they're like rooted in a location. Like, it's like
Right.
this is the Philly team or whatever. So they're like, well, I don't think that this is going to do anything because nobody's going to have anybody to root for. Like, I mean, you can still root for the team even though they're traveling. You can still like that team.
Yeah.
And the other deal is that I don't even really give a shit how many people go to the games for Premier Lacrosse League because I think this is a loss leader. I think that they're probably going to lose money. They're probably either going to buy or get bought out by at the MLL. But what it will do is it will make lacrosse accessible to people on TV or whatever. It'll make it a lot more visible. Which I think is the more important part because I think that once people learn about the sport, because everybody that I've had introduced to the sport, they're like, how did I not know about this before? It's like all the best parts of football, hockey, and soccer and basketball all rolled into one sport. Like, yeah, it's a fucking amazing sport. It's got a great history and it's got a great, it's a great sport. It's physical without being too crazy physical. I mean, people get concussions in lacrosse, but not at the same rate they do in football or hockey or whatever. And there's a little bit of a finesse to it, and it's a good sport. Like it a lot. This will get it to the point where more people will know what it is.
They'll be able to, it'll be accessible. They'll be able to go watch it.
Yeah, because right now it's a pain in the ass to try to watch lacrosse.
Or you have to get on YouTube or something else. It's never on TV.
Or you have to pirate it. You have to find a stream somewhere.
Exactly.
And it's like, it's just a huge pain. ESPN Plus actually was really neat for the Lacrosse World Cup or whatever they called it. The only problem with that is they crammed so many games into such a small amount of time. There were like 3 games all on at once. Like, there's no way you can watch all of them at the same time.
Not unless you're like TV.
Right, and not every one of them had commentators that were good. So sometimes you'd be like, you have a lot of dead air, which is what I try to avoid with the podcast. And actually, I've cut a lot of dead air out of the podcast, the ones that I've edited, because I'll notice that it's only a second, but you don't realize how long a second is until you're sitting there waiting for it to pass. So, like, if there's a second of dead air, it's pretty noticeable. And sometimes there will be a couple times where it's 2 or 3 or 4 seconds of
All right,
dead air.
everyone shut the fuck up.
Okay.
1.
Dead
All
air.
right.
Cut it.
What's
Joel's
your other
proving a
one?
point.
Another sports-related topic. I don't even know how to. The title of this doesn't make sense because it wouldn't make sense just saying it out loud. But basically, they had a trial for a bunch of Adidas employees and
Ooh, what'd they do?
recruiters, or not recruiters, excuse me.
Are they French?
Oh,
agents.
motherfucker.
I think more like was it like legal trial?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, a legal
Okay.
trial where
Oh,
they
is
were
it 'cause they were
basically doing
paying
a
people?
pay-to-play scheme, where they were
Oh.
basically bribing in a way to get the high-ranked basketball recruits to go to their Adidas-sponsored schools.
Creighton was one of them.
Yep,
Oh, were they involved in that?
as well as Kansas, Louisville, and NC State.
Well, that's why the Louisville coach they had a whole big FBI
He got resigned?
investigation. Yeah,
Yep.
got resigned. He pretty much, they said, he got resigned. Like,
Yeah.
you resign or we'll fire you. Your
Yep.
choice. And then you go to jail because you didn't want to.
There was one
So-
recruit they were offering to pay, I think it was $100,000 to the guy's dad.
That was
The
Creighton.
recruit's dad.
Right.
It was Louisville on this
Oh,
one.
well, there's one that was Creighton, too.
The assistant coach.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, all right, Peyton Manning.
Omaha, Texas.
Good
Also,
place.
did
That
you
is a
hear
real
about?
place.
Did you hear about this? I don't know much about it. I don't know if you heard about it, but supposedly there's a transgender woman who's been having sex with a lot of famous athletes, such as Richard Sherman, and there's some other basketball player. But
So male to female
so yes, essentially,
transition? Okay.
so with a lot of different ones. Supposedly, is what I heard. I just heard about this article, didn't read it, and he or she is threatening to come out about like
Stir
all
it
the
up.
stories, like basically just stir the whole athletic pot about who had sex with this transgender
Do it. Who gives a fuck?
woman.
So you don't know which
It's
direction
so
they
funny.
transition to? Is that why you keep saying he or she?
I think it was a male to a female. I'm
Okay,
pretty
so
sure.
then the proper pronoun is she at that point.
That's why I said she.
You
with-
said he, she.
I said with her.
Well, true.
Right.
Later on, you did
So,
say that. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Just making
There's
sure.
going to be a
Just making
brawl
sure.
on the podcast.
Gotta be
I don't even
PC.
really care about being PC necessarily. Just respectful, man. That's all you got to be.
True.
I said with her.
I try to be respectful.
Yeah.
Biggest lie of
Yeah, which is why
2018.
one of the things that I had to cut out of the last one, I was like, you were like so confused by it. Also, after this is done, I have so many sound bites from that podcast that I want to play you guys. Holy shit. One day we're going to make a soundboard.
Yeah.
One day we're going to make a soundboard,
We
and
should.
it will be it'll be like we're in 2006 again because nobody does soundboards anymore. But yeah, you were so confused, and I was like, no, listen, dude, trust me. What I said
Oh
needed
no,
to be cut.
it wasn't me.
No, yeah, we'll
Oh yeah, it
we'll,
was
we'll play
me.
the tape.
No,
we'll play
I
the
know
tape.
what it is, but
Yeah, and I did that. It's a good thing nobody can see you and then read lips. Then I'd have to figure out not only how to bleep things, but also how to like blur it, like over the mouth.
that'd be
God,
good.
I'm learning so many new things.
That's perfect. We're getting better.
It is
at
good, but
How
all right,
would
so
you like to
we're-
be paid to play a sport in college?
I think
not
that-
even professional.
Well,
Nope,
it
I think
sounds
that
like
that'll-
some of the kids didn't
Accept
even
it.
know, because a lot of it sounds like the payments are going to their parents.
Oh yeah,
So the parents couldn't have even, maybe they didn't tell their kids, hey, you're getting paid to go to this school.
right. Well, with the whole Creighton thing, they offered the guy's dad a
Yep.
high job at Creighton for him to come play there.
I think that all of the college sports need to go away. Introduce a minor league. Kind of just like every other sport everywhere else in the world, where like you go to this, you go to this league when you're 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, and then if you're good enough, young enough, then you can go to the big leagues,
Well,
but you work your way up through the system.
Because that's the reality with 90% of college athletes is they're college athletes.
Right.
They say that they're student athletes.
They're not.
No, they're college athletes.
Yeah.
Have you ever talked to one?
They're
of them?
college age athletes.
Yes.
And if they're not being directly paid, they're being indirectly paid in some way or another.
Exactly.
And they should be, because some of these kids go, they might get a full-ride scholarship. Let's just pick a school that's historically good at football. Let's just say a kid gets a full ride to USC, right? And this kid is not bright, but he can play the hell out of some football. And he has a career-ending injury his freshman year. What the fuck is that kid going to do with the rest of his life?
Nothing.
Like,
he's
the only
gonna
thing he's done his entire life is play football.
Play football.
So, I mean, now you're going to, not saying that he can't do it, because I'm sure plenty of kids have to, they face that reality. I can't play the sport anymore, so I have to figure out something else to do, whether it's be a coach, which I think that probably a lot of them do
Most
end up
of them
doing
go
that.
doing.
They end up,
do it.
coaching at the high school or
Go do
college
it.
level,
Yep.
somewhere else, or even at that school. But, maybe the ones, not everybody who is really good at a sport is a very good coach in that sport, because for a lot of them, like we've coached some kids that would make terrible coaches, because they just know how to do the things. They can't explain how to do them.
Terrible.
And they can't, and it's not so much like it's not a slight to them. It's just that they never had to work to be
No.
good at the sport,
Do the coaching.
so they don't understand how to
Right.
break it down in a way that somebody who's
Exactly.
never done it before would understand. So having, a coach that is like, it's Doug Peterson is the Eagles coach. He was like Brett Favre's backup quarterback for 20
Yep.
years. And guess what? He's a
Super
pretty
Bowl
good
winning
coach. Yeah. And it turns out that, because he had to work his ass off every day to even, like, be the backup to Brett Favre, he's good at, he knows the game inside and out. It's just really tactical people who know it. But, like one of the kids that we sent to D1 school would not make a good coach, because he just does not, well, kind of, maybe. I think if he calms down a little bit and thinks about it more, he definitely could be a good coach, but he's all over the place right now. He's young, though. It's he's 18, 19, so I can certainly say that I didn't know shit and was not a very good person when I was 19.
Nobody does.
So you learn and you grow and you get older.
We all think we do.
Oh yeah, at 19, I thought I was hot shit.
Isn't it funny how that mindset changes?
Oh yeah.
Like when you graduate high school, you're like, I own this fucking world.
Yep.
And then like you get a job, and you're like, I am not shit in this
You have
world.
to start paying for stuff.
Yeah, that's really the most
Yes.
humbling thing. Or you get home and you're like, man, I'm gonna go out tonight. Oh nope, got to pay rent. I guess I'm eating macaroni and cheese for the next 4 days.
Yep.
Like that is the most humbling thing ever.
Yep.
There's nothing more than that. And the worst part is like when you get a job where you're like you feel like you're making a lot of money, and you're like, it's not a lot of money.
Yep.
I'm still
Turns
just
out-
getting by.
Like my favorite thing to see is the one thing I miss about childhood is thinking that $100 was a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Yes, 100%.
And the dumbest thing is like back in those days, I'd buy a new Xbox game like every 2 weeks.
Yep.
Like $60, boom, $60, boom. And like now I'm like, I might be able to buy a game in a couple months. I guess I got so much other shit I got to do.
Oh, is it 25? It'll drop to 20.
The last-
Right? Yeah.
the
I'll hit it up when it's $5.
The
on
last
Steam.
game I bought was Far Cry 5. And
Yeah.
I bought it at full price. And
Yeah.
I was on the fence about it. I was like, do
Yeah.
I do it? Do I not do it?
I was that way with NHL. Or actually, the most recent one was for me was the Destiny expansions. And then a buddy of mine, because I game share with a buddy of mine, and usually what we do is we split the cost of the game. So it's at most $30 usually, right? Well, I bought the Destiny expansions, and he wasn't really playing them with me, so I didn't really. But I was like, I really wanted these anyway, so I'm not gonna make him pay me $30 if he's not gonna play them. Well, he got Madden 19, and we were talking about Madden earlier. I don't know if it's gonna make it. I think we were talking about it before we actually started the podcast, but you're talking about how you were like, oh man, this is too easy. We're gonna set it to all pro, and we're gonna play it, and then you immediately started getting fisted. Like we're playing on. Oh no, you set it to all Madden, right?
All pro.
Oh, all pro is the one right below all Madden. So because all Madden is the most. So we're playing. I'm playing an online franchise league right now with a few friends of mine, and
Do you know how to play football?
yeah, barely.
Doubt it.
So the difficulty is set to all pro, and my God, you cannot throw over the middle of the field because some middle linebacker is going to intercept it 100% of the time. You can't let yourself get sacked, or at least I can't, because Ben Roethlisberger apparently has butterfingers because he's been eating too much popcorn on the sideline. And every time he gets touched, he drops the ball. And then none of my offensive linemen are any good except for the one who's got like a dislocated knee and he's out for 10 weeks. So nobody has enough awareness to like turn around and just fall onto the ball.
Yep.
And I got fisted by the Buccaneers. like I beat the shit out of the Browns. And then I got murdered by it wasn't the Buccaneers. I don't remember who I played second. Got killed by them. Got killed by the Buccaneers, and then I killed Joe Flacco and the Ravens and managed to beat them. But we can do that when we're done here because there's a lot of stuff in the way. We have to clean this up. Also, we don't have a way to record it, so we're not going to do it on the podcast.
I've got one.
We're about ready to wrap up though. It's about time.
I've got a question for you.
Okay.
So you said you can't throw over the middle.
Yeah, no, not over the middle of the field, Madden 19. Also, you can't run. I have Le'Veon Bell on my team. I swear to God, I think average rushing yards over my 4 games, 12.
I mean,
Oh yeah, I hate that. You can't run.
you look at real life. I mean, Le'Veon Bell has 0 rushing yards this year.
That's true. Yeah, no, he's
he
been a
has
huge
more.
bust.
So
He has more.
you can't throw over the middle, but can you throw to your mama house?
No, because she lives in Texas.
That's a throw right there.
Yeah, that would make me Superman.
Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite
I
could throw
can't
that
with the
ball.
Napoleon Dynamite
He could throw that
references.
football over the mountains.
Oh
so
my
I'm
God,
pretty
that's
sure you
3
could throw
times
that
in 2
football.
weeks. Or you just call us the Napoleon Dynamite podcast, and the Napoleon
The Dynamite
Dynamite
podcast.
I'm pretty sure
Some
Dynamite
tater
podcast.
tots.
Yeah. Get your own.
Tina, you fat lord, come get some dinner.
Tina.
I actually talked about this
Oh,
in PE
shit.
class with my cooperating teacher.
Do the chickens
I
have
thought you
large
were gonna say
talons?
with your elementary school children.
No, they don't understand because they're too young.
No shit.
Rex Kwando.
My God. Okay, so did anyone?
One of my favorite ones also is sorry to interrupt, but when she gives him the card for the pictures and he's like, I already get my haircut at the cut and corral. And it has no absolute relevance to what she is trying to do.
That movie has no relevance to anything.
But it's the best movie ever made in life, aside from Borat.
My wife.
All right, so you
High
mentioned
five.
the kids
What's
being
that?
too young,
Cheese.
right? Has anyone seen Elon Musk's tweets recently?
No.
Oh, God.
No,
About
not
Fortnite?
recently.
He has gone off the deep end, it seems.
But
But so there was a
It's because he
news
smoked a
article
weed.
yeah,
Yeah.
he injected a marijuana.
that was published, and the headline on it was Elon Musk buys Fortnite and deletes it. And then it has a quote from him that says, I had to save these kids from eternal virginity. Elon Musk retweets this and says, had to be done, you're welcome.
Was
But
there
he
another
never
one about
bought
like
it.
reality or like reality's tough? This one was like something.
I'm pretty sure
Fortnite
that the
said
first one
just
was
build.
Was it from like the
Fake.
hardtimes.net or something?
Yeah.
It was a
I can't
satire
remember.
thing. It was
Yeah,
like the
no, it
Onion.
was
Fort-
100% satire.
Fortnite
yeah.
posted about SpaceX or whatever it is, how
Yeah.
it took 10 years, and they're like, just build. And he was
Oh.
like, reality's tough. Or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. But in like since
he
then
would just
though,
buy him out. He'd just be like, thanks.
all of his tweets
Gone.
have been very weird. He had one a couple days ago that was
Maybe he got
I heart
hacked.
anime
Maybe he got hacked.
and I own a chibi Wolverine.
I doubt he got hacked. These
Then
all
the,
sound like
then the next tweet
Elon Musk
is
things to say.
Twitter thought I got hacked and locked my account. Ha ha.
Yeah. No, Elon Musk is the new John McAfee. Do you know who John McAfee is?
And who Pat McAfee
Is he the guy that started McAfee?
Yeah, it's the McAfee guy. He's like in Bolivia now or something because he's like wanted in some other country and like they want to extradite him. He just sits down there and just blowing hookers all day long. Like he's real life Bender. If Bender
Perfect.
was
I'm gonna start my own country with
big-
hookers.
blackjack and hookers.
Blackjack and hookers.
Actually, forget the blackjack.
You know what? Forget the blackjack
On a
and
s-
the hookers.
On a
You
side
know
note,
what? Forget the whole thing.
do any of you follow John Mayer on Twitter?
No, because
You
I
should do
really
that.
don't like John Mayer.
It's phenomenal.
He seems like the quintessential douchebag.
He seems like your
agree.
stepfather.
I don't have
that,
one of those.
that you would not enjoy on Twitter. He is
Okay.
hilarious.
I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe I have to separate the artist from his, the guy
From
his
his
music
life?
because I don't really like.
You know what?
From
That
his
is, that is a
wife.
very open mindset, and I appreciate your mind.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I've never really been a fan of his music.
If your
So-
mind,
Yeah, me either.
if your mind was a thing, I would.
And
fuck
he
it,
just looks like a douchebag.
but he's not.
But don't judge a book by its cover
Yes,
or something.
I
Yeah,
don't. I
he's-
don't read, but
Yeah, Joe can't read. Actually, it's
this is
it's
2018.
amazing.
Chris,
It's
who
a-
reads?
It's amazing he got to be a teacher.
Not yet.
Oh yeah, sorry. Excuse me.
Dead air.
Close enough.
Boo. That's really what we need the static for. I just need to plug that faulty thing in there just to have something that isn't dead air.
like a. Psh,
No, just like the constant humming, like the constant existential dread that one day you're gonna die. Thank you, Joel.
was that it?
That was it. Yeah, that is the sound of my constant existential dread.
Like just waiting.
You fucking nailed it.
just fucking waiting.
Yeah. No, seriously, there are not a lot of things that, and I don't really want to. Maybe one day we'll have like a serious tone podcast where we talk about because we kind of joked about it a little bit on the last one, joked about it a little bit here too, but when I was like, oh, I need to put up the suicide awareness thing, the suicide hotline, image or whatever. Maybe one day we'll have like a kind of a side podcast where if that's something people want to talk about. And I already forgot where I was going with that. Oh no, the number one thing that gives me super crazy anxiety in life is sometimes I'll get stuck. Stop hitting your forehead. Sarah did not like my joke that I made after you did that last week, where you hit your forehead and Hillary Duff's picture was on the screen, and I was like,
She's gonna hurt my.
yeah. I was like, I wouldn't mind, blah, 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 whatever. And Sarah was like, I didn't like that. I was like, come on, you love Hillary Duff. Sexually.
Actually, she is one of the famous people from Disney that didn't turn into an absolute sloot.
But yeah, no, one of the things that gives me anxiety sometimes I'm like, how do I even know I'm alive? And then my brain spirals out of control from there, and I'm just like, I have an out of body experience.
Do you want to know? Do you
I
wanna
have
know,
to go sit down.
Do you want to know how you're alive?
Right? No, seriously. I just need to smoke a shitload of weed
Do you want to know?
and just go to sleep, and then I'll be fine.
Just go fall down fucking stairs. You will
No,
know
I've
that
done
you're
that
alive.
before. I've done that before. That's
You will
not
know
fun.
that you are
Speaking
alive.
of Joe Rogan, I was listening to one of his podcasts. It must have been an old friend of his that was on there, something, and they're talking about being high and not sober. And he goes, I don't know how you would do what you do not sober. And he goes, yeah, I have to do my job sober because when I smoke weed, I start going, ooh, what about space? That guy's big. Maybe we should.
So Joe, is he talking about his commentating stuff? And it's yeah, because that's always the best part about
commentating 100% sober.
yeah, which is so weird
I
because
tried it one time not,
yeah,
and he goes, it was the worst thing ever.
because that's the most fun game to play though when you're watching UFC is how high is Joe Rogan right now?
Not
Because
at all.
during the Derek Lewis after he was just staring at the dude, he's kind of wobbling a little
balls
bit. I'm
is
like,
hot.
dude, what is wrong with you? How high are you right now? My balls was hot. I understand.
That was funny.
Is the perfect response to that.
Hey, Brenden.
I understand.
Rock, paper, scissors. 1, 2, 3, shoot.
He's holding a beer.
Hold on.
Dead air,
hold on,
dead air,
hold
dead air,
on,
dead air,
hold
dead
on,
air,
hold
dead air,
on,
dead
hold
air.
on. Hold on.
1, 2, 3, shoot. 1, 2,
Whoever
3,
loses
shoot.
gets to take that fireball
1,
shot.
2, 3, shoot.
Brendan, that's yours.
Take it away.
Oh,
There you
no.
go. Take it away. You are the loser.
Oh, miss me with that fireball
Actually,
shit.
I probably
Hey, I'm
would.
still in the frame.
I probably
you're
would.
not.
Sweet. Well, obviously, I'm directly behind it. How much have you had to drink, sir?
Water.
Yeah, I know. That's
Lots
a joke.
of it.
All right, so we're at an hour 30.
Let's end it at a Joel thought.